My name is Ania and I originally come from Poland. I live in England. I've been living in England for 20 years. And after 12 years of feeling very kind of drawn to medicine and eventually connected with ayahuasca in the jungle about 6 years ago. And since then I spent a wonderful year out of medicine, very challenging, and then another 3 months in the jungle with my loved one James, after which we had our son Logan, with whom we came to drink ayahuasca for the third time here in the Sacred Valley. Before we had Logan, still in the jungle, James said that we're gonna have a child and we're gonna come and drink when day 2. Didn't think much about it, but it happened that Carolina and Pedro created this wonderful space. We, in the meantime, found out that they also had a daughter, Ania, and when we saw them on the internet and how their faces looked, we just felt that we want to come and drink with them and with Ania, and came here. Coming here as a mother was very interesting. I felt somehow it's the third workshop, very conclusive in a sense, because I was hovering away from my body. I was trying to trace it back, and it seemed like maybe it happened at birth, but I think it happened at my birth rather than my son's birth, or immediately after. My parents weren't able to give me immediate love and care in my first days, and since ayahuasca showed me a lot of truth and wonderful teachings when I first came in contact with the medicine, what happened was that I was watching everything from a bit of a distance, but it became very apparent when I became a mom that I'm not fully my body, and that reflected itself in the bad diet, bad habits, and the kind of bad karma, for the lack of better word, around my family. Lots of difficulties which we carried with as much grace as we could, but it became obvious that we need to come back to medicine again. And for me, my energy system somehow felt a bit upside down. I had lots of heat here and massive amount of kind of energy up here, and with my hands, being a mother, but not so much at the core of my being. So that was my work predominantly this time. Very, very, very earthy, and with help of everybody, a wonderful group, and Carolina and Pedro, and Maestro Adriano, and wonderful Quechua ladies that looked after my son better than I could imagine looking after him myself. I felt I was, and obviously with a coca that we were dieting, I felt I was being drawn back into my body, and it was a very, very difficult journey, very short and very long. Very physical work with ayahuasca, and at the same time very subtle. I didn't particularly purge physically. He stayed put on my mat, but went through quite a lot of journeying with that. And eventually I discovered that I scanned myself, that there is something, an obstacle to sustaining my fire inside, and it felt like an external energy, felt like a parasite, and I don't know if it actually manifested into a physical parasite or was it just energetic. With that, lots of memories of being aware of it as a very little girl when I was playing with soil. I had this secret, I'm not well, in my belly. And once I kind of really fully stumbled upon that, I started really working with it, energetically and eventually physically with my hands, and with everybody's help, and with Icarus's, it started shifting, and with its release, there was a fire that started really, really growing, and I understood that it's for that fire that people sometimes sought my company throughout my life, which was really wonderful, but I didn't have that for myself. My son very strongly came into my variation yesterday, requiring my attention very strongly, and with that I understood that I didn't keep the right balance between being a mother and being a human being, a woman, and it was absolutely wonderful to realize that, because only now I can be fully available for him. Like I was kind of running on empty for a long time, and I would have dropped dead at some point, which would be a bit of a shame and boring generally. So yeah, feet on earth for the first time in my life in such beautiful surroundings. Unbelievable surroundings, unbelievable people, a beautiful creation. Yes, that was my process in a nutshell. All this work really brought me, I had a bit of a relationship with psychotherapy. I've studied art psychotherapy because initially I studied art, and I always knew that my work is with people. But I didn't want to go that path fully because it felt like it's touching the surface only. So now I fully understand that all those kind of circuits that my personality had to create on top of some sort of essential lack at the core of my being couldn't be dealt with just by themselves. That's not to say that psychotherapy isn't wonderful for lots of people, but for me, it's back to very, very simple things like breath, water, and yeah, and I absolutely feel like making my apologies to whoever I had in the process, because it simply was a system that was sort of like overriding me, created just as a coping mechanism in the search for love, and then love is not something to search for. So that's it, I think.